Hello, everyone, and welcome to this sacred conversation. I am Abiola, and if we are just meeting for the first time, hey, I'm feeding baby Ruby on my lap. And besides being Ruby's mommy, I am the founder of the Goddess of Manifesting Tobago Retreat. That is what we are going to be talking about today. In addition, you are going to get to spend some time with the magnificent, sorry, baby, the magnificent goddess Sade Selvon Abrahams, who is one of the goddess gurus at the retreat. So you don't want to miss this. Give me 1 second. I have mommy brain, and I just realized I want to put my phone on airplane mode so that we are not being disturbed. So, for all of you, hello, good morning, Goddess Rose. Good morning, Goddess Jill. Good morning, Goddess Stacy. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Goddess Tiffany. For everyone who has already booked the retreat, I have some schedule updates to share with you. So you absolutely want to stay in this sacred conversation. It is going to be absolutely beautiful. Hello, Goddess Sabrina. So right now, I want to just introduce you to my fellow goddess who is also a new mommy. She is based in Tobago. She is gorgeous inside and out, has been doing goddess retreats and goddess work for a long time. And when I found her, when I discovered her, when I magnetized her, when I manifested her, and she manifested me, I was like, oh my goodness, the goddesses have spoken. The ancestors are happy. There is joy and jubilation in the world. Help me to welcome my beautiful sister on this journey, Goddess Sade Selvon Abrahams. Yes, and no relation. I am Abram. She is Abrahams. What are the chances? Welcome, Goddess.
Oh, thank you for that absolutely beautiful introduction. It's such an honor to be here sharing space with you. So thank you for having me.
Oh, I am so glad that you are here. And for those who are just joining us, well, right before we came on, she just finished feeding her little one and handed him to her partner. And so please tell us about being a new mommy. We are sisters in mommyhood.
It is, he's going to be probably coming in and out while we're doing this. But
Okay.
motherhood is, it made me realize the power of women. It made me realize how strong, how beautiful, how, oh my gosh, it is like, it, don't get me wrong, it is so exhausting. Sometimes you want to sleep, but it's so worth it because you're bringing this beautiful spirit, you're guiding this beautiful soul into the world. And being a portal for that, just, it, it's magnificent, you know, and I honestly didn't plan to have children. And when this happened and I fully embraced it and I fully embraced motherhood, I also wanted to bring back the sacredness of birth, sacredness of being a mother. So for me, I was like, I challenged everything the system put in place for us. I was like, nope, I'm
Yes.
doing this my way, you know? And it's absolutely joy, pure bliss, pure, like he's just my love, my heart, my everything, you know. So it's I love it. Love it.
Oh, that's beautiful. I feel everything you're feeling. As we were talking about before, we were talking about sleep. And I was assuring her that sleep is ahead because Ruby is now, sleeping through the night. And we were talking about the just the magic and the miracle and the gift of being a mom. And I find it, especially, profound that it's really wonderful that you, as a beautiful goddess sister on this journey, you get to raise an enlightened man. Like, I'm excited that I get to raise a daughter and bring an empowered daughter into the world. But
Yeah.
we also need empowered men. We need enlightened men. And so thank goodness that there are mommies like you for the next generation, who are raising these men. So
Yeah.
tell us about that, about being a mommy to a son. Yeah.
Because initially, I'll be really honest with you, I was like having a daughter. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
If I had a daughter, it was like, oh, is she going to go through the same things that I went through? How do I guide her to be in a world where, women have to go through so much and empower her? And it was a little bit daunting for me, you
Mhm,
know.
mhm,
However, I got a boy,
mhm,
and
mhm,
from the womb, I started to talk to him. From the
mhm.
womb, I
Yes.
started to read. From the womb, I play the music. We meditate every day, and I told him about his grandparents, his ancestors, the world that he's coming into. Um, and for me, it's just about guiding him. I want to open his mind to all the possibilities, all the beautiful things that exist in this world. I don't want to shout to him, but at the same time, I beauty, sacredness, all these things do exist. I want
Yes.
him to understand the power of woman,
Yes.
to be balanced in his feminine and his masculine energy, because that is where it's at. I want him to be balanced. So all my practices, all my rituals, I want him to make a choice if he wants to do it. But now we meditate together in the mornings, we play
So do
some
we.
music, right?
Yeah.
So it's just about being a guide for me. He chose me,
Yes.
and I am eternally grateful for that. And I just want him to experience the world in a sacred way,
Yes.
and really honor the woman, really
Yes.
honor her, because that is what we're missing. We're missing that respect and that love and that loyalty and that understanding of how powerful we are. And that's what I need him to understand, and his power as well.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I'm excited for it actually. I'm
Yeah.
excited. I have thought about it a lot. And my partner, who is also very much, in line with with how we want to allow him to experience his time on this earth. So yeah, it's definitely there, and I'm making all the steps to allow him to have a fantastic, beautiful life here.
Oh, that is absolutely beautiful. That is beautiful. And I will share that, when we were setting up this time, hello to all the goddesses. I see many who are attending the retreat and many who are not yet, but maybe perhaps will join us. But when we were talking beforehand about sleep and everything like that, and we were trying to schedule, and you were saying, well, I'm going to, like, kind of apologetically, I'm going to have to be feeding my baby. And I said, don't worry about that. Like, in everything that I've done since, she was born, all business meetings, anything that I have, she's either right there or she is in my arms. And it is because we are creating a new paradigm. Who says that you should not be feeding your baby when we are having a meeting? Like, who says that that is unprofessional or not the way to go? Or no, 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 you are mother, that is your child, and your child's nourishment is everything. And if anything, it makes the meeting more powerful. Our retreat is made more powerful that we are bringing all of this mama energy, to it. So this is our purpose. This is why we are here. And I shared with Goddess Sade that I want to share with you in the audience that one of my aunties, my auntie Irma, actually, she said, when I was talking about, I'm carrying the baby around, and everything, working, holding the baby, typing with one hand. She said in Africa, in India, in Asia, women have been doing this since the beginning of time. She said in the fields, we strap our babies to the back and are working in the fields. And she said, you can do it, my dear. We've been doing this. This is what we do. You can do it. And so it was important for me to share that with Sade and to share that with all of you who are here. With all of you who are here. So let's talk about now your goddess work. Tell us about this journey. What has this journey been for you?
Mm. It from a very young age, I felt something different. I felt something within me that was powerful, it just lingered throughout my teenage years, throughout my 20s. And, with the world that we live in, I wasn't, no one taught me what that was. No one taught me how to tap into that power. And I was also very fearful of it, because it was different. It wasn't the norm. It was a different type of energy I felt, a different type of way of thinking, a different type of way of praying intentionally. It was totally different. And for a long time, like a lot of us, that power was suppressed, that power was numbed. And I wore this mask. I wore this mask of not knowing who I am for a very, very long time. But something inside me always called me back, always.
Yes.
And I was lucky for that. And I started to, I think about 3 4 years ago, my grandfather had passed, who is, he's my rock, my guide. I love him. And he passed, and I came out of a very, traumatic relationship. The person was my best friend, but wasn't healthy. And when I came out of it, Abiola, when my granddad passed, there was a morning I sat on a bed, and I got up, I got dressed for work. This was 3 4 years ago. I had my towel wrapped around me, and I felt this. I couldn't, my breath was kind of doing this thing, and I was like, "What is happening?" And prior to that, let me just add, I had started Reiki healing. So, like about a month before, I started Reiki healing once a week. And I sat on the bed and I started to breathe, and I was like, "What is happening?" Tears started to roll down my eyes. I wanted to scream. I screamed in a pillow. I, closed the curtains, and I was feeling all this emotion, all this sadness, all the trauma just coming out of me through anger, through sadness, through fear. And I allowed myself to go through the emotion. I called my mom and I was like, "This is what is happening. I just need you to be there. Just let me go through what I'm going through right now in this space. Let me go through it." And it felt like sadness and trauma from past lives. That's how
Yes.
deep
Generations and past lives.
generation. Yeah.
Yes.
And I was feeling it, and when I tell you, my hands were shaking, and it was traumatic, like absolutely traumatic, but absolutely beautiful. That is when my life changed, because I allowed myself to release all the hurt, all the pain that was trapped inside my body for so long. And it was the beginning of a self, discovery journey, a healing journey. And what I realized, what triggered that emotion, what triggered that healing process, that breaking apart of this old version of myself, was the Reiki. The Reiki started the movement. And because I was so open to it, I allowed it to fully,
Yes.
allow the energy to flow where it needed to. And the pain was immense. The pain in my stomach, in my everything that was coming out, was, I can't even describe it. And I know for a lot of women, they probably experienced this.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
and there are many names for it, a breakdown of this or whatever. But for
Yes.
me, it
Oh,
was a breakthrough. It was a
yes.
breakthrough. And when that happened, I started to think about my grandfather in the moments of being there in that space, in that space that I was in. And my grandfather led a life of kindness and joy. He was a community man. He left his legacy, Abiola. Like it was like where, and then it made me question, what is your legacy? What is my legacy? What do I want to leave behind? And what do I want to contribute? And how do I want to be of service to this world? those questions started to trigger an emotion of I need to do more. I need to heal. I need to be of service. And I realized I couldn't do that until I did the work.
Yes.
I couldn't do that.
Yes.
I couldn't. So it's, and then it just led down a path of Reiki healing, movement, um, healing through movement, healing through dance, creativity, creating things, and discovering who I am, my power, my essence, my kindness. And I said to myself that that is the life I want to lead. What my
Yes.
granddad did, I want to exist in a space where I give back. I want to live in a space where I am kind and loving and open, and I could bring that energy to anyone who I come into contact with. So that's how the journey began, and since then it's just been a roller coaster of joy and peace and laughter and healing. A lot of healing, and I'm still healing. We're all still healing, so I'm still very much open to being that student of life and allowing myself to recognize when there are parts of me that need healing as well. So that's where my journey. That's how it began.
That is so beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. I love that it started not only with Reiki, but it started with you surrendering. It started with you having an ancestral connection with your grandfather. And it started with you giving yourself permission to feel your feelings,
Yeah,
which a lot of us, as women, we're not taught or given permission to feel our feelings, to feel what it is that we feel.
yeah,
And so a lot of people don't even know what they feel or how they feel, because
yeah,
we're so out of touch with what it is that we're feeling, you know whether we're feeling joyful, whether you're feeling sad, whether you're feeling, frustrated, overwhelmed, confused. It's like, there are factors in our society that will have a problem with any kind of expression or you feeling what it is that you feel. And so that is incredibly powerful, and you've
yeah,
taken up the healer's mantle and the mantle of being a community leader, which is phenomenal. And so that brings us to the Goddess of Manifesting retreat in Tobago, June 2nd through 7th. Rituals, rebirth, and reggae. I'm so glad that you're going to be a part of it, right? Isn't that exciting? So glad that you are going to be a part of it. You are one of the ways that you define your work and define yourself is as a serpent goddess, as a Kundalini serpent goddess. Talk about what that means.
yeah. So from the age, I would say about 11 or 12, I started to have these dreams with snakes, and I was really fearful. I mean, and I was brought up in a Roman Catholic environment, and obviously, serpent, snake energy, anything like that was considered to be evil, was considered to be, you don't want to mess with that.
Right.
So for me, there was a lot of fear around it, right? But the dreams kept happening, the visions kept happening throughout my life. And I think about 16 to 18, I started writing my dreams down. So I started writing what happened, and I started to notice a pattern with the dreams. And the pattern was either something was going to happen, or I needed to be warned about something, or a person, or guided in some way. And the snake would always enter my dream only at that specific time. And I started to realize, but what is this? What is this pattern here? And obviously, fear is a huge factor in all of this in terms of Kundalini and serpent energy. So there was a lot of fear. So I kind of, in a sense, rejected it, but at the same time was curious. I was still open to it. I'll still write my stories. And then when I started to go through my healing you know, journey, I had this dream where I'm in bed and I got up. You know those dreams where you it's real. It's you're awake and you're in that realm. And I it woke me up out of my bed and it took me to a river. So I walked out the house, I walked through the forest, and the trees were like breathing. It was like I could feel the pulse and the energy of the earth. And I walked through the forest and I came across the most magnificent, beautiful tree that you'll ever see. It was like a mother tree. It was like, and I'm looking at this thing like, what is this? This is glorious. And then when I looked up, I saw this snake, a white snake. It was glowing and huge. And I was like, I took off to run. I was like, no, I'm not doing this. And I took off to run. And as I turned around, Aviola, the trees pulled me back in and pushed me to face the snake. And when I faced the snake and I looked and I actually made eye contact, it was me. It was me. And the fear and everything that I was running from was me. You know, the snake was just a representation of me and my power and who I am and my instincts, you know, my everything. And when I looked into the eyes, there was a knowing. There was a knowing, that all women, we have it within us. We know, but we just are so scared to tap into it. And when I finally looked into the eyes of that snake and realized the power of my of who I am, I realized that this isn't something that I should fear. And so I started to do my research, started to research about serpent energy, about Kundalini energy. When you look in India, Africa, all these places, the serpent were um they were honored, you know, they were goddesses, you know, and somewhere along the line that was, you know, misinterpreted, pulled away from us because that power as
Yes.
women,
Yes.
when you tap into
Yes.
it, it's a whole nother ball game. So the retreats is about for the retreats, my session is embodying that. It's the beginning of tapping into that power, tapping into that serpent energy that rests within our body, that rests within our soul. The dancing, the meditation. Dancing is so powerful when it comes to raising that serpent, that kundalini energy. And for some of the women who don't know, the serpent energy rests within our spine, rests within our womb. It's, for a lot of us, is dormant. For a lot of us, we haven't tapped into it. And for some of us, we have, and we know the power of it, right? The peace and the joy and everything that it brings. And this session for me is about that, is about tapping into that power, triggering that power to start to rise within us. And from there, we take it and we allow it to flourish in our everyday lives.
That is so juicy and so magnificent. And as you were talking, I was loving, the fact, like just the
Everything.
nature of chaos, the chaos not only around you, but with, Ruby, like being like, okay, I want this, I want that, or what, it's beautiful. It's
Mhm.
beautiful. It's in the divine disorder, it's the divine order. As you said, Kundalini, that energy that comes, up the spine, you know, in when I started to do global research in Zulu culture, it's called Undalini energy, and it's the exact same thing. The circular, serpent energy coming up the spine, that goddess energy, and
Yeah.
it's because the ancients were all pulling from the same stream. They were all pulling from the same source, and it's not by accident that we've been taught to fear our power, to fear ourselves. All
Yeah.
of that is, it was very purposeful. And so it's magnificent that you are taking, that we're taking it back. We're taking back our power.
Yes.
The workshop that you are going to be doing, this serpent goddess power workshop, will most likely be on the beach
Hmm.
right outside our retreat center, which is magnificent. And you talked about, hopefully we will have, goddess willing, there will be, a drummer and a belly dancer there. Let's talk about tell us about that.
Right. So for me, drums are sacred and spiritual instruments. They call our ancestors, they call all the women before us. And it's just the rhythm of our heartbeat that we connect with this amazing instrument. So for
Yes,
me, I thought, wouldn't it be absolutely beautiful? We're doing this work, but if we call all the women before us to guide us,
yes,
to protect us, to
yes,
show us the ways to allow our bodies to move in the motion and release the energies that all of us are holding, that we need to release to heal. So for me, the drum is like that rhythm to bring that movement and that energy to flow. I also have a beautiful sister, Steph Kalu, who is a belly dancer. Now, it may seem like, what is the connection? But when I did her belly dancing class, I realized my energy was so heightened,
mhm.
and the movement
Yes,
of the weight,
yes, yes,
right?
yes,
Yeah, the hand movement, you triggering all the emotions to start to move in your body. And although it's a free flow towards the end of the workshop, it is a free flow movement. But I thought it would be beautiful to have someone there, to kind of like guide us in a sense if we want to,
yes,
on different movements that would heighten the release and heighten the energy. And so I'm really excited to incorporate everything within the session, because I the heighten the session and just bring the energy all together, because the movement, the meditation, the dancing, and just being conscious of what is happening within us, you know, is gonna be magnificent. You
yes,
can't help but feel it. You just can't help but feel it. And it's about letting go. It's about surrendering, and allowing your body to do what it wants to do. Don't hold back. I'm
yes,
not a dancer, but I will be dancing.
yes. But we are dancers. We all are dancers. Yes,
Right.
yes,
So I'm really excited. I really feel that it's things that I do on a daily basis. The meditations, the dancing.
mhm,
I'll also be doing a cleanse with some sage before we start.
yes,
So we could just let the space itself be cleansed, so that we could start releasing in a really beautiful environment as well. And having the water next to us is even more
yes.
powerful, because the
Oh,
water would hold and take the energy that you need to release and send it for its own healing. So that is also a beautiful space that we're in, that we're going to be in, and I'm excited.
I'm excited too because that the dance that you're talking about, it's in our sense memory.
Yes,
It's in our sense memory, and it's ancestral. The name of the retreat is the Goddess of Manifesting Retreat. Well, with us moving our bodies, that's us tapping into, our ancient connections,
yes,
and creating and birthing and manifestation. It's all in alignment. It is
yes,
all juicy and all perfect and all in alignment. And we to go over the schedule really quickly for everyone who's attending. If you are wanting to join us, I think there are four seats left, and you're really lucky that there are four seats left, because usually we'd be booked immediately. People who have attended in the past know that, but because of COVID, some people get nervous and they having to not go and maybe want to go another year and things like that. So there are four spaces available, um, let me let you know really quickly what the schedule is like because there are some updates. So on Thursday, June 2nd, you arrive at our beach hideaway in Tobago by 2 p.m. ideally. If you have challenges with your flights, etc., contact Goddess Joe at yeswecan at womanifestingyou.com. If you're attending, you have her email. Then we have our opening circle at 3 o'clock. We then have our welcome dinner and a carnival performance where, yes, so it's going to be, so music is very much a part of this journey all throughout, right? All throughout. And then on Friday, the 3rd of June, we begin with a meditation circle. You have yoga, goddess initiation circle, and a group lunch. And then after that is when we have goddess Sade's Kundalini Divine Feminine Power Workshop that is going to lead into a photo shoot. And the photo shoots are just as much a part of the retreat growth and work and evolution as everything else. Us capturing, you capturing your beauty, us having the courage to put ourselves out there. Let's just talk about that before I go on with the schedule. Did you ever have any challenges around? Because one of the things I love going through your Instagram profile, and we'll share with them soon, is that your voice. You're putting your voice and your face and your body out there courageously. Which is again another thing that we were kind of taught and trained away from doing. Can you share about that? Having the courage to be seen and heard and experienced.
Yeah, that was a huge block for me, in terms of showing up as myself. So, showing up as myself in my space is one thing, but showing up as myself in community, in social media, in wherever I go, was very challenging because for so long I was wearing this mask. For so long I
Yes.
was this person who, was a people pleaser and, you know, uh, uh, fit into the molds and the stereotypes of, a woman, should I
Yeah.
say. And I did that for so long. So imagine wearing this mask and then you go through this healing work where you're like literally stripping layers of yourselves, layers and layers of yourself. And underneath all of that is this raw, earthly, powerful woman.
Yes.
And I didn't know how to put that out there. I
Yeah.
was like, they're gonna judge me. They're gonna be like, who does she think she is? Or, she's evil, or she's, what is she doing with this? What is the snake energy? And da, 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 and there was a lot of fear around it. There was a lot of fear for me in terms of how will I be perceived.
Hmm.
And honestly, about a year to 2 years ago, I, I said to myself that I didn't want to be that person who I was before. I don't ever want to be that person. I'm grateful for that person and I needed to be in that space at that time. But this person who I am right now, I'm proud of her. I love myself. I love who I am. I know my power. I am beautiful. And I was never able to say those things about myself before, Abiola, ever. And I thought, if you can't see this, if you can't see me, then you're just not supposed to be in my space. And it's as simple as that,
Yes.
And getting over that fear, I was like, I have the work that I'm doing, the person that I am, I honor who I am. So I have to show that. I have to exist. And it's so interesting because the more I started to release and the more I started to, post on social media or started to write or, do little videos and stories and whatever, I realized that my community saw me my tribe saw me, and then I started to connect with all these beautiful souls who were going through the same experience, who were going through the same fear, who were, and it was like so interesting because I see the most beautiful woman who, they're doing all these amazing things, but they don't want to be on that social media platform because of how they might be received. And I am
Yes.
breaking that boundary. I am totally dismantling it and showing up as myself now. There is no other me, and this is me,
Yeah.
and I want women to embrace that, the rawness. That's what I want you to embrace. I want you to embrace your power and the beauty that we have within us. Like it's like the more healed the more lessons that I learned, the more work that I did, the more I started to really embrace my difference, my uniqueness,
Yeah.
my colorfulness, my whatever you want to call it.
Your
It was
magic. Your magic.
magic.
Yes. Yes.
I and what was also interesting? I didn't care if I was seen because I see me.
Yes.
That's what it was. It was like, oh, I'm in a place where I see me,
Yes.
the people who are around and who care for me and who love me, they see me. So when I put things out there, not that it doesn't matter, but what matters the most is there in my space. You know?
Yes.
So I encourage women to just really start to kind of like, we need to normalize this magic,
Yes.
beautiful magic that we have. We need to start putting that out there and letting it just heal. That's what it's essentially doing. The energy is healing, and allowing other women who might be feeling like, a little bit intimidated or scared or fearful to put themselves out there in that way, that it's okay. And it's not a case where I wasn't judged, Abiola. I've been told
Right.
many things about
Yes.
myself, but I know my truth. Once you know your truth, it really doesn't matter. Protect yourself and you're good, you're really, really good. And so, yeah, I encourage it. I encourage the bravery because it takes a lot of bravery to really show up. It really,
It really does. It
yeah.
really does. Thank you so much for sharing that. I know that you are empowering a lot of people. Goddess Tiffany said, hashtag normalize the magic. Goddess Cora said, yes, 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 I'm feeling it all. Goddess Miko, she says, namaste from Georgia. Goddess Candace, who will be at the retreat, she said, good job, Sade. It's been a challenge for me too. Yes, Goddess Samantha wants to know if vaccination is still required for Tobago. I'm not sure. When I last checked, maybe about a week ago, it was. I don't know. So please just Google it. I'll try to Google it before we get off this call. But last I checked, it was. But I love that you shared that, especially the part because a lot of people, when we talk about being seen and being heard and being experienced, having the courage to remove the mask and show up as you are, which is a big part of my work as well because it was a part of my personal journey. And at my last retreat that I did right before the pandemic was at a castle in France. And Goddess Joy, who is here in the audience, who will be at this upcoming retreat as well, she remembers I brought masks and we did an unmasking, ceremony and workshop together. And I think that this is really important. And one of the things you shared is that, yes, you still do get judged and criticized. We're not saying that when you show up as you, it's going to be magically, you're going to get acceptance from everyone. No, but the thing is that you are not for everyone. We are not for everyone, so that is what it is. So let me just finish quickly with the schedule. All right. So then on that Saturday, June 4th, we have a meditation circle. And then we have a Divine Feminine Caribbean costume making workshop. You have to bring a bathing suit. So bring whatever for you is a swimsuit, and you will build your carnival costume on top of that. And then we have a dance class with Goddess Akesia, Caribbean. We call it playing mass when you are participating in Carnival, playing mass workshop and another photo shoot. And then on that Sunday, we have a meditation circle. And we have a workshop with Goddess Danielle Boudou Fortuné, who I love. She is an artist who a manifestation artist. I had her do a commission for me before the baby was born to, bringing forward the baby. And the work, it looks exactly like baby Ruby, the work that she did. It's in my living room in New York City. So we're going to be doing a manifestation, art of manifestation workshop with her, working in watercolors to paint your future that you are calling in to your life. And then that Monday, June 6th, it's we have an ancestral waterfall goddess ritual and a VIP group dinner, and also as testing is still required for the United States, where most of the people at the retreat are coming from. That will be where we will go and get a COVID test and go back home the next day, where we close out with a closing circle. And it is all goddess energy. It is all manifesting energy. It is all the energy of birth and rebirth and stepping into your power. And so, what, Goddess Sade, as we close, are you wanting people to most know about? Well, why should they come and take your workshop at the retreat? Why should they come to the Goddess of Manifesting Tobago retreat where they can experience you and your work?
Peace. It's a beautiful feeling to be at peace with yourself, to be at peace with who you are. And I encourage, women to do this session because it allows you to tap into your divine power. And we need to get back to that sacredness. And that for me, it's where how could you deny yourself as a woman, not knowing who you truly are? So yeah, it's a beautiful feeling to be at peace with yourself. So when you start to do the work, which is, what we're doing, what you're doing, there's a beautiful retreat and you're doing the work, it brings peace within. And to be in that space is absolute bliss, it's bliss. It's real bliss. So that is, yeah, that is what I'll leave with that.
That is beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful. And I want to just add to that that if you are considering coming to the retreat, and that it's okay for everything not to be figured out. It's okay for things to be in flux. As you see Emma holding my daughter, I wasn't intending for her to be on camera in this video, but she was like, okay, here I am. And it is what it is. It's okay for things not to be figured out. I was sharing with Goddess Sade that I'm the retreat leader, and I haven't purchased my plane ticket only because I don't know yet if I'm going to be leaving from the US or leaving from here in Guyana. But it's okay because I know I'm going to get on a plane and go, and there are flights, and it's all right. It's okay, for every single moment of everything to not be within our control. And when we have the courage to surrender to that and say, wow, I'm going to go on this adventure. I don't know Abiola. I don't know Sade. I'm going to go. It's weird for my family that I go. People will judge me. People will say, why did you go? How dare you? Or whatever they might say. You're selfish, or who knows? Someone will always have something to say about everything. It's about you stepping into your power and your sovereignty. So thank you so much, Goddess Sade. Please let people know where they can find you.
Yes. So on Instagram, Sade _serpent _power _ a long one.
Say it
You
one
could
more time.
Sade _serpent _power _ I also have the Tiny Buddha shop, and all the links are on my Instagram. So from there you could go everywhere.
Wonderful. And you can read about Goddess Sade. You can find her bio and all about her work at goddesspraylove.com, which is the retreat information page. Goddesspraylove.com. Thank you for this inspiring journey, and thank your thank your son and your partner for allowing us to have this time together. I'm going to give him back his mommy. He can finish his feeding. We interrupted
And
his
thank
feeding.
you so much for allowing me to be in this space. Like, I really admire everything that you're doing. And it's so powerful to see other women fully, what the work that you're doing is absolutely amazing. So I'm really honored and thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, sis. It's the first of our many collaborations. Have a beautiful day.
Bye.
Bye. So I'm gonna let Goddess Sade go finish feeding her son, and close up with all of you, my beauties. Yeah, should we close up with them? So as you can see, like, she's just one of the most magnificently beautiful humans that I've experienced being in the energy of. And it's important for me with each retreat that I do to work with local healers and teachers and practitioners and allow you to experience, the best of their work and their, journeys, like the journey we just had on this call. On Thursday, we're going to come back to this same space, Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're going to have a conversation with another beautiful Goddess Danielle, who I just mentioned, who is doing the Art of Manifesting workshop at the retreat. And I know it's only a month away, but come on, let's fill these 4 seats if it's meant to be, if it feels in alignment. There are people who've been telling me for 10 years, I'm going to make it to a workshop, and they may. But stop delaying your life. Stop delaying your needs. Stop delaying your desires. Stop delaying your wants, because you are worthy and deserving of all great things. Right, Ruby? That's one of our favorite affirmations. You are worthy and deserving of all great things. You are worthy and deserving, right? Mwah. Mwah. You are worthy and deserving of all great things. We do our affirmations every day and our gratitude every day. Should we share with them as we close some affirmations? Yeah? Mwah. You are magnificent. You are the best that God has created. You are a wonderful human being. You are smart. You are rich. You are capable. You are magnificent. And I will see you all in the next broadcast. Say bye. Bye bye. Give him a wave. Give him a wave. The wave. The wave. Mwah. Say bye bye. We love you. Selvona. And that means we see you. Bye.